This convergence of the honorable parliamentarians of Africa is vital. There is need for legislative attention on the socio-economic and political problems with which the continent has been grappling. At the apex of topics for debates was the colonization of an African state by another. They were in unison in their opinions that more than half of a century after the first African states regained their independence from European dominance, an African state could be seen practicing the very kind of foreign domination they had resisted and fought off. Such is the present situation in the small state of Sahrawi in the Western Sahara, which was taken over by Morocco upon the departure of the Spanish colonialists. It's been quite a thorny issue for the African Union, and persistent diplomatic pressures on Morocco have not yielded the expected dividend. Morocco has rather responded with a departure from the African Union. Now, the Pan-African Parliament is suggesting the use of tougher measures against Morocco, including elements of isolation.
Once they become isolated, no trading, no international relations with them, I think Morocco cannot continue. It's an affront, as I said, to the African countries. But for us, we have called, first of all, for sanctions. We should try to isolate, totally, completely. We should stop them from taking part in African activities. We can boycott their airspaces. We shall close all their embassies, or high commissions where they are, so that let them know that we are serious.
Morocco has been using its economic prowess in Africa to go against the wishes of its fellow African states for the abandonment of such a 21st century anomaly. However, there are indications that such a cocky Moroccan posture and continued illegal occupation of the Western Sahara is in connivance with some influential European states. Africa, which has seen its observation of presidential and parliamentary elections in member states, a motion was moved for a detachment of observer missions in order to go solo, because in the thinking of some members, it is high time the independence of the Pan-African Parliament be asserted.
However, we should not pull out at all because we need to fight. We need to defend the principles of democracy. We are the representatives of the peoples of Africa. The peoples of Africa, they need us to be observers. They want us to be there so that the elections will be fair and just, and we need to be witnesses so that we could vouch for transparency, for the observation of human rights, for equity. And so by no means we should retreat.
Because previous encounters have established that the overall pictures of the observer mission do not always express the expected views of those of the Pan-African Parliament. This was a motion that did not meet the concurrence of the entire body.
PAP is not independent of the AU. We are the legislative arm of the AU. And we must be seen as a team, to work as a team to fight the issue of Africans in the African continent. I will submit that we ask that the welfare of MPs to mission be addressed, and that all MPs and that of mission observers from the AU be on an equal status or level as we go on mission.
It is our prerogative, and people should accept, should recognize these reports. Otherwise, our parliament will not be taken seriously.
The motion suffered a rejection. It has to be said that amidst the frankness that surrounded the deliberations, the most dramatic moments was with the issue of xenophobia in South Africa. Ghana suggested the transfer of the parliament from South Africa to a more tolerant African state. The reasons: security and safety of members of parliament. This motion received a unilateral response from the parliament's president. It was a single slam of the gravel and the motion was dismissed. Such a unilateral action received a corresponding reaction. South Africa made headlines for the wrong reasons in April this year, with sporadic attacks on foreign nationals. Claims were that these foreigners were taking away their jobs and creating hardship for them in their own country. This has been quite alarming for members of the parliament, who are themselves a huge variety of foreigners. The parliament awaits a report from the South African President Jacob Zuma before deliberations on the issue could be considered worthy. This convergence of African members of parliament manifests a determination for the creation of one Africa with a single voice. After all, it was for the engendering of peace, security and stability in the continent that it was brought into being.